What is up, everybody? Today is round 3 of the European Team Chess Championship, which I am playing right now in Montenegro. And you might wonder, Anna, how is it round 3? You've only posted round number 1. Well, that is because yesterday I did not play because I was feeling pretty sick. And the tournament consists of teams with 5 players, so we had a reserve. So she was able to play instead of me, but today I am feeling fantastic and I am more ready than ever to play the best chess possible. Now today we are facing Finland, and I am excited because it's another Nordic country, and I'm playing against a 1900. So I'm gonna go now to the room, I'm gonna prepare, and I'm gonna make sure that I know exactly what to do against my opponent. Come and join me. Dad, how are you feeling for today's match?
I am very optimistic. I little sad for yesterday because I don't expect to lose the match, but I have confidence today. I think I have very big confidence with you, with Mama, and also with the rest of the team. I will win today, I am sure.
Great words from a team captain. Thanks, Dad. A lot of times people ask me, Anna, what is it that you actually do when you're preparing chess? And what I'm doing right now is that I'm looking at previous games of my opponent to see what openings she typically plays, to then try to find the best moves against those openings. So I'm coming up with the plans and with the opening that I'm going to play later on in the game, and I'm just trying to find what strategy I'm going to go for. So that is what I'm doing. And I typically do this for around like 1 to 2 hours before the game. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just finished preparing and it's time to go to the playing hall. Wish me luck. Okay, Mom, we just finished the match. How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel...
Okay, so I just had dinner and now I'm back in the room and I am so excited to show you the game. It was a long game, so grab some popcorn, or I don't know what it is that you do when you're watching something, but maybe some tea. Tea is awesome. I wanted to have tea, but there's no kettle in this room. Anyways, the game was really exciting. We were facing Finland today, and I was playing against the 1900 rated player, so she was a little bit lower rated than me, and I think I was feeling pretty optimistic because of my win against the 2300 the other day. So I kind of felt like I have the white pieces, I'm playing a lower rated player, I should win, which is a very dangerous thing to think. You should not underestimate your opponent, like, ever. And I think that I kind of did a little bit subconsciously. So I started with d4, of course, and she actually played the Queen's Gambit Accepted, which was an opening that I wasn't expecting her to play. She doesn't play this typically, and I think it's because she's seen that I have really bad results with this, which is true. I need to study some theory and play something different. But yeah, she played this and I was really surprised, and so I took my sweet time here. I went e3, which is what I typically do to capture back this pawn immediately. And I captured it, e6, and now I did a move which my mom said, typically it's not really something you want to do, even if the engine thinks it's totally fine. I went knight c3, so I brought my knight out, but a lot of times this knight can be a little bit awkward here because it's easy for it to get kind of pushed away. So knight c3 is not really a move I have to do. It might be better for me to bring out my other knight in castle and wait a little bit before I bring this knight out, as you'll see later. But she went c5, she was playing all these moves at tempo, she looked very confident. I sometimes got eye contact with her, which was a little bit awkward, like, because I looked up and then she looked up and then none of us looked down, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so knight f3, and she went a6, and now I did a mistake. I straight up did a mistake. I did a move that you're just not supposed to do in the Queen's Gambit, accepted. And that is that I went a4. And there's nothing wrong with this move. Or it looks like there's nothing wrong with this move because of the fact that, like, I'm right now stopping b5, which is what I wanted. My dad said prior to the game, he was like, she loves to go b5. So I was thinking, oh, let me stop the one thing she loves to do. Let me be super annoying and do that. So I went a4. But what I realized is that by going a4, I am giving her this square forever. And positionally, this is going to give her a fantastic knight at one point, and it's going to be impossible for me to remove any piece that goes here. So I kind of regretted this move later on in the game, and I don't think that I'd play it again. She went knight c6, I castled, and now she captured, and I captured back with the pawn because I wanted to be able to bring this bishop out. Now, after she brought her bishop out, I could decide where I wanted to go with my bishop. And so at first I was thinking that I'm going to go bishop f4, but then for some reason I didn't do it. I guess I was kind of scared of it getting kicked away, but I'm not really sure why I didn't go here. This is a much more active move than what I did. I went bishop e3. Here she castled, and now I had the opportunity to go for the move d5, which is a move that equalizes the position immediately. Why? Because, I mean, we're going to have basically the same pawn structure. And a lot of times when you have the same pawn structure, there's really no differences in the position. AKA, it means that the position is equal, if the rest of the material is equal too. So here I could have pushed the pawn, I could have traded, and the reason I didn't do it was because I thought that it would make the game too easy. I thought it would simplify the game too much, and I thought, once again, that it would just be equal, and that I would gain, like, no advantage from this. So I didn't really want to trade everything, but I do think that that would have been objectively the better move. I went queen e2 with the idea of, 1, developing my queen, and then 2, bring in my rook so that I could prepare this move. And I was thinking, oh, if she goes knight a5, I'll do the sneaky move bishop a2, I'll bring a rook in over here, I'll bring my bishop over here, this bishop will be looking towards the pawn, this will be such a fun game. But then, instead of doing that, she went knight b4, and I realized now that this knight was coming up to the middle of the board, and this knight, there was nobody that was getting that knight away from here. Like, this knight was going to be so strong. So I started getting a little bit scared about my position, and I started realizing that I may be in some trouble. So I started by activating my rooks. I went rook ac1, and she went b6. And here I thought for like 30 minutes, which is kind of crazy because it looks like a very normal position. The move that makes most sense is maybe either to bring in a rook or get the knight up. It doesn't look like there's anything crazy. But I thought for 30 minutes. And the reason I was thinking was because I really wanted to sacrifice a pawn. I really wanted to make this move over here work. Now this move looks terrible. I'm giving away a central pawn. It goes against every chess book that you've ever read. But the reason I really wanted to do this was because by giving away this pawn, I would be activating my bishop, I would be activating my knight, I'd be activating a lot of pieces. And so I was seeing ideas that sometimes if she captures over here, let's say that I go bishop b3, sometimes if she would do something like bishop b7, I am actually maybe threatening at some point to capture here and then capture this bishop, which I'm not doing right now because my queen would be trapped. But sometimes I'm threatening these sort of things, and I thought that, you know, this would maybe give me some activity. But I ended up after 30 minutes to not dare doing it, and I just went rook d1. Actually, I only thought for 10 minutes here, but yeah, after this move, I thought for a little bit longer again because I really wanted to make it work. But she went knight d5, and she immediately stopped it. And here I thought for a while, I didn't really know exactly what to do. I realized that probably I wanna trade a pair of knights. I was also looking at going knight e5 with the idea that if she goes here, that I can just, what was I thinking of doing? Yeah, that I can maybe just, I was actually considering going knight here, but I don't know if it's good. I wanted to trade this knight. But yeah, I was looking at all of these kind of things, but I ended up taking the knight. And after she took, I instantly, like literally in the span of like 5 seconds, I did one of the biggest mistakes in the game. And that is that I took back. Now, this may not look like a huge mistake, but the reason it is because I'm giving up my bishop here. And I knew this. I knew that objectively this could be bad, but the reason I wanted to do this was because I was thinking that, let's say that I go something like knight e5 and she goes bishop b7. I was just very uncomfortable with the fact that this bishop was going to be so strong in this diagonal. For some reason, I just didn't like my position here. I thought that the knight was good. I thought that the bishop was good. I thought I was just worse. So I thought that a great way of simplifying would be by taking and then going queen c4 and trying to trade queens. But what I missed is that this position would be totally fine if my pawn was on a3. But because my pawn is on a4, this is a huge weakness. And now, after she develops her bishop and I trade, bishop b3 is going to come with so much force, and there's not really a lot of things I can do to stop it. So here, I could have gone rook c7, I could have activated my rook and started doubling, but I'm never really going to be able to double as my rook will be eliminated pretty quickly, and I wasn't a big fan of this this position, to be honest. So I decided to sacrifice a pawn. I decided to sacrifice this a4 pawn. So I went knight e5. She went bishop b3. In fact, she looked at me as in like, you know that you're giving me a pawn, right? And I was looking right back at her because I wanted to show confidence. So I was looking right back at her and I was like, yes, I know that I'm giving a pawn. It's all planned. So when she did this move, I was trying to play pretty quickly to make myself seem confident when truth is that I wasn't really that confident. But she went here. She's threatening my rook. She's threatening my pawn. I need to do something. The only move that I liked was rook d3, forcing her to capture. And now my idea was to go d5. Finally, I'm able to activate my bishop and I'm able to activate my pieces a little bit. So even if I'm a full pawn down, I thought that I had some counterplay. I thought that this was not completely over. And right now I'm also threatening this pawn, so she cannot go b5 because then I'm trapping her bishop. So I had a few things in mind. So she pretty quickly captured, and here I think I did a mistake. I think that I should maybe just capture back immediately. The reason I didn't do this was because I didn't want her to be able to go b5. Which I'm not sure if I should be scared of her doing. But yeah, I decided to first go b3 and threaten her bishop so that the bishop would have to move to b5 and then I would take, and now this pawn cannot push. But I think this may have been a mistake. I think actually that the bishop was worse placed here than here. The bishop here was very strong. So that was a slight inaccuracy, but you know, these small mistakes can actually like change the whole game. So she tried to trade rooks, and I think that was a strong move. I didn't want to trade rooks, so I went knight c4, blocking and also now threatening here. And the reason I cannot take this rook and after she take this is because she has a back rank checkmate. So if I would just have an extra move, if I would just have a little bit of space for my king, a little bit of air, I would be fine, but I don't. So I went knight c4 blocking, and now she traded, which I was kind of surprised about. I took back with the pawn, and then she went rook here. And I was kind of surprised actually that she traded that bishop because it was so strong, but I also understand it. Here I wasn't exactly sure about what I should do. I didn't know if, I thought that this was a tough position. I ended up trading the rooks because I saw that she had to take back with the bishop because otherwise her pawn is hanging. And now I just thought I need to get my king active really quickly. Kings are supposed to be active in the endgame so that you get an extra piece to work with. So I just activated my king and she went for this move b5, which I was expecting. And here I didn't really see much more than to trade. I mean, rook a1 looked very scary, allowing for a passed pawn. So I captured on b5. Also, if I have a cough, I'm a little bit sick right now. Like I said, I didn't play yesterday because I was sick, and today I did have a cough during the game, and I felt so bad coughing in the playing hall because like it's so quiet, and I was like, I'm literally disturbing all my teammates. I'm disturbing everyone. Like, I didn't want to cough, so I went to the bathroom a bunch of times because I was so congested. But I felt really bad about the fact that I kept coughing, especially like when I was in time trouble. Like here I had a minute left and I was coughing and I just felt really bad. But I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling much better than I did yesterday. So I am almost fully recovered. But now she traded rooks and then she captured on b5. And then I went bishop a3, which I almost thought I had to. I really did not want her bishop to come in here and control. And now in this position, you know, I have 10 moves, I have 11 moves to do. I have a minute 40. You do get increment, but I had a lot of moves to make before I got my extra 30 minutes, which you get at move 40. And I was in a bishop endgame pawn down. Now the important thing to notice here is that it's the same color bishop endgame. So actually, this a lot of times is completely winning for black. In fact, I think this position is winning for her. If it would have been different colored bishops, if this bishop would have been on a light square, it would easily be a draw because I'd be able to always stop her pawns. But because the bishop is on the same color as mine, I do have some trouble. But my biggest threat right now is this pawn. I knew that if I was able to somehow get this pawn and trade this pawn for one of my kingside pawns, I would probably be drawing. I just needed to get rid of this pawn. So she went bishop a5, which I thought was maybe a little bit slow because I thought that she did not want to push this. Because the moment that her pawn goes on a dark square, it's going to be easier for me to target it with my bishop and my king, as my king is closer to her pawn than her king is. So I started going up with my king. She went f6, I kept on going. And now here I got down to very low time and I wasn't sure if I could go king d4. I kept analyzing this and I was not sure. And I do think that I should have done this. The reason I was scared of this move was because she has bishop check, winning this pawn. And so here, if I do any move that's basically not bishop c5, I'll be losing the pawn. And I was a little bit scared of that. So I kept on thinking, what happens if bishop c5? But now, after calculating, I realized, and you know, I had to analyze all of this. I realized that this is just a draw. But this, when I had 30 seconds left on the clock, was not that clear to calculate. Oh no, I have to go, oh yes, here I have to go f4. And now it's a draw. Because after king f2, I have king e7, and after takes, I have takes. And after here, I can take. And then, yeah, if she takes, I take here. And if she pushes, I take there. And this pawn will be on time. So, I mean, this is, slightly crazy, to be honest. And I had to calculate like these 11 moves. And truth was that after she went king f7, I just didn't have time to calculate this. And this was such a forcing move. Because here, I do think that I should block. Because if I do something like this, she can just take. And then after king c6, she gets a lot of extra tempos and so extra turns. So I really was unsure about all of this. So I ended up just going f3 to stop her from taking this pawn. And now I'm threatening to go king up. But now she gets one more extra time with the king. So I went king d4. And here I was sure that she was going to go bishop c5, and I kept on analyzing this because I realized that this was now losing for me after the trades. The king will be in time to pick up my pawns. So I just thought that this would be really good for her. But instead she went b4, and I started singing hallelujah. I mean, I realized that this was a mistake when she did it, because this pawn, like I said, was going to be so much easier to target. And now the crucial move is that I cannot go bishop b2. I have to go bishop c1 so that my king is in time to target the pawn, or my bishop is in time to target the pawn. So she went bishop c7. Here, honestly, I went king c4 and I screamed because I realized that this pawn was hanging. I didn't see it. I was so low on time. And I was just playing I felt like I wasn't really in control. I just literally, I realized that this pawn was hanging, but I was like, okay, if she's going to take it, it's probably a draw, but I missed it. I could have gone h3 here to try to save the pawn. But I went king here. She tried to defend. Here, once again, I could have tried to save the pawn by going g3, but I started getting scared of pushing these pawns because the more I push the pawns, the more holes I'm going to create for the king. So I just went bishop d2, and now she gave me the pawn. And I started bringing up my king. Here, I just need to go back with my king. You know, I just need to get my king to f1. But I started dancing around a little bit. I'm not really sure what I was doing here. Because here, even maybe g4 is good. But I don't really know what I was doing. I went here, she went h5, and I realized my mistake. And I started going down. So now I just started pushing down my king. And this is the only thing she can do. And I spent quite a lot of time calculating this because I wanted to know if this was a draw or if I was losing somehow. But I thought it must be a draw because the 3 versus 2 pawns are all on the same side. So as long as I can always sacrifice my bishop for a pawn, it's going to be a draw. but I still had to calculate this. So I realized here that there was probably not a lot she could do. And what I also quickly realized was that if she ever captures here, my king will be in front of this pawn. I can just move my bishop back and forth, and this pawn will always stop this, and nobody will get my king out of here. So I realized that this was an easy draw. So she can never take. So I thought that I have a lot of time. But here I decided to take. I thought she was going to take with the h pawn. That felt a little bit scarier, but she took with the king. And now I just didn't know how she was going to continue. So I started just moving back my bishop back and forth. I realized that my king had to go between e2 and f1. I could not trade bishops, then I'm losing. I need to keep my bishop. So I just kind of went back and forth with my king and my bishop. And I really didn't see any way for her to progress. This was the best chance she had. Here I thought for quite a while if I should go king f1 or king h1. Both are a draw, but I was scared of going king h1 because I was scared that somehow her king would be able to come up. I don't know. I just realized that king f1 was a draw because the only way for her to progress is to go king g3. And then, well, she went back and forth, but to go for this idea where she basically trades this pawn to get a passed pawn. And so she tried everything, but I went back with my bishop, and here she was trying to get her bishop to go to g3. But the funny thing about this is that even if I would do a random move, even if I would do a really random move, and she went bishop g3, I can even go king g1 here, and it's a draw. I can sacrifice my bishop because of the fact that the promotion square is a different color than the bishop square, and this is a draw. So I knew that this was a dead draw because I could even give up my bishop and it would be a draw. But I thought, it's unnecessary to give up my bishop, so after she went here, I just went bishop h2, because after she goes here, it's just important for me, I cannot take here because she takes with the pawn and wins. So I had to go king g1 and just make sure that this pawn stays on the h file. And then after the trades, it became a draw and the game ended here. This is just a complete draw. As long as this king is on g1 or h1, it's always a draw, as it's an h pawn. So I drew the game today, and I was happy considering the game. I was lost for a big part of the game. Obviously, I wasn't so happy about drawing a lower rated with the white pieces, but it's definitely something that happens, and this definitely taught me a lesson to, one, not underestimate my opponents, and two, to study this opening, to study the Queen's Gambit Accepted, because it's a tough opening. And it's become like a lot more popular lately. But the important thing is that my mom won, Julia, who was sitting on board 4, she won, and Elinor, who was sitting on board 2, drew. So we beat Finland today with 3-1. This was now the first match that we won as a team. Sweden won, so that was fantastic. We lost both of the first matches, so I'm really happy that Sweden won today, and tomorrow we'll be facing probably a stronger country. So what matters in a team tournament is for the team to win, more than the individual result, even though I am obviously trying to play as well as possible myself, and I am trying to get a norm this tournament, but that's not something I can think about right now. I need to stay focused and play on the whole tournament.
Oh, I feel very happy, a bit exhausted. I had a very long game, but it was a good game.
Yeah, we won 3-1, so that is what matters.
Yeah.
And you won!
Yeah, I won a very, very long game. Yeah. And it was quite exciting. I think I could have played it much, much easier for me in the opening, in the middle game, and I made it. But okay, I had a pawn up and I had a bishop down, so I was happy.
But you're happy that you won.
Yeah, of course I'm happy that I won. Of course I'm happy we won the match, but I'm also happy that I won that game.
Yeah, and we beat Finland. Yay! Mom, don't watch my game, please. Never see it. I messed up in the opening.
Yeah.
Never watch my game.
Yeah, I know I haven't seen it because when I played...
Let's just leave it like that.
Yeah. No, I only saw a little bit of Eleanor's game, but you were too far away, so I haven't seen anything of your game actually.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Are you happy with the match?
I am very, very happy. It's the first win in the tournament. and also I like when we don't lose one game.
Yeah.
We win 2 draws, 2 winning is very good.
Yeah, nobody lost.
That's very important.
Yeah, so nobody had a terrible match. No, it was good. It was good. Okay, let's keep on winning that.
Yeah. Only had one very bad match yesterday, but now the other 2 matches we play very well. No problem.
And we'll play even better tomorrow.
tomorrow we'll win again, yes. So...
Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I will be back with the recap of round number 4 tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and please like this video for good lucks. Okay, bye! Mom, do you want to say bye to everyone that's watched this video?
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye. Bye.